Again, for all the new faces on here, my name is Jen Charisse. I'm one of the business development managers at Celebration Title Group, but I don't like to put a title on that. I'm more of a connector, implementer, someone that's really going to help you elevate your business. So we really appreciate all of you guys taking your time today on this Friday to come in and join this Zoom. I know there's a lot of Zooms out there, but we're happy you got onto this one because you're going to get a lot of great nuggets. So I hope you have a pen and paper where you can write them down. So if you haven't heard of the franchise, that is Bobby. He's a wonderful coach, very experienced in the real estate and commercial industry. He's been in the business. How many years have you been in the business now, Bobby?
18.
18. So, you know, definitely very well experienced and seeing the ups and downs. So we're really grateful for you to be on here, Bobby. We appreciate your time, and go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, guys. So I'm super excited to do this. Definitely a different medium. I usually do this actually live at Celebration Title Group, and it's always good to get that crowd interaction. So we'll do a couple questions, a couple little contests here to kind of keep you guys engaged. It's so different when you're not actually in person in the room, but I'm excited to do it through this medium. First and foremost, I just want to thank Celebration Title Group. Most of you guys probably use Celebration, so it's no surprise to you, but just to let you know that our team uses them exclusively, and we love them not just because they do title, because a lot of people do title, but they do it very well. But on the other side of things, they actually are what I call an energy match to us. Like, they're committed to personal development. They're committed to your growth. They're committed to helping you do more business. And honestly, they always say this, like, kind of like their little tagline. Jen Charisse always says they're a marketing company disguised as a title company. And there's nothing more true than that. I've never met a group of people who have just creative talents throughout their whole team as much as Celebration Title Group. So thank you guys for having me. So if you see on the screen, I don't know if you guys actually see the thing playing that says Dead Agent Society on the screen. I'm not sure if you guys actually see that right now. But the Dead Agent Society is actually a coaching company that myself and my business partner, Gil Ramos, put together. And we call it the Dead Agent Society because we call it the Dead Agent Society because we don't believe that you, in this day and age, especially now, even more pertinent with this pandemic, you can't just be an agent. I think you have to be a leader and you have to be an entrepreneur. And so our tagline is Death of the Agent and Rise of the Real Estate Entrepreneur. We don't want you, because here's what's going to happen during this time. And this happened, and I've been through another cycle in 2008. The people who aren't committed, the people who don't actually get charged up by the opportunity of the pandemic, the people who fall into kind of like, you know, I don't know if I should do anything, and they get paralyzed, they're going to be gone. That's what happened in 2008. A lot of the people, a lot of the competition in the industry is going to get filtered out. And you guys, the guys who are on this call, who are committed to not only your education, but going out and taking action, guys. Like, if you guys listen to this and you guys actually don't take any action, then it's not worth anything to you. And right now is that time to take action. We'll kind of touch upon this. This presentation was obviously done before we were quarantined, so there's going to be some things in this presentation that we'll kind of tweak a little bit, but we'll be focusing on what are the opportunities right now. So let me talk to you guys a little bit about what you're going to be learning today. Number one is the 5 secrets of the dead agent. So once again, the tagline is Death of the Agent, Rise of the Real Estate Entrepreneur. So the secrets of the dead agents will be, what would an agent that didn't make it tell you guys from the grave, right? So the agents that didn't make it in the industry know better than anybody what killed them. Why didn't they succeed? And so we'll be talking about the 5 secrets of the dead agents, and that's really more of a mindset shift. And then obviously the mindset of a real estate entrepreneur. So I believe that employees and regular agents think different than entrepreneurs. That's why if you're an employee mindset or regular agent mindset, I think during this pandemic time, it's going to be tough for you. But if you can switch your mindset to the mindset of an entrepreneur, you're going to thrive. And actually, I believe you guys are going to make a ton of money because of what's happening. I think there's going to be a big shift, and the people who take advantage of it are going to make a ton of money. And I'll talk about that. And then the next thing, how to produce more and faster. And then the last thing, which I don't think, people talk a lot about, is how do you get wealthy in real estate, right? They're always talking about how you can do a deal, how you can get a check, but how do you get wealthy? And how do you retire? What's your exit strategy? I mean, if you guys ever talk to, an independent broker or even a broker, I want you to ask them this question: what's your exit strategy? and see what they come up with. Because oftentimes they don't have an answer, and you really should. You should really know how to exit the business if you want to. I'll always do real estate. What I mean by retire means that I don't actually have to work, right? So I want you all to have that in your lives, because more than ever during this pandemic, as you guys are seeing, the people that are not worried right now are the people that are wealthy, right? I made a joke the other day. I was riding through the neighborhood, and I saw these guys. And my girl's neighborhood's a little bougie, right? So they got a golf course in there. I walk out every single day, and the golf course is packed. And then we're walking around the neighborhood, and there's this guy in a golf cart, and he's driving by, and he's waving at me, and I'm like, this guy doesn't look worried. And he's not worried because he owns his income. He's an entrepreneur, or they're wealthy already. So the pandemic's not affecting them like it's affecting some people right now. So these are the things we're going to be talking about today. Feel free to ask questions throughout. I've got Jen Cherie moderating it throughout. And once again, we'll do some contests and things like that. So what we'll do is, this is Dead Agent Society presents Game of Homes. So I want to talk to you a little bit about me so you can kind of get to know who we are. Some people don't know me on the call, some people do. So I was actually born in Puerto Rico back in the day. Don't want to say how old I am, but 1979, you can do the math, okay? I see you, Rebecca, laughing at me. So you can see that I was a fashionista from the very beginning. Overall, striped shirts and boots apparently is what I'm doing. So that's my family growing up in Puerto Rico. That's where I got my amazing dancing skills. I always say, I'm just, since day one, just had amazing dancing skills. This is some of my family. That's me on my birthday right there. And what I would like to say about Puerto Rico and the culture that I came from, that it really educated me on how to connect with people. So if you guys have ever been part of the Hispanic culture, or, whether you're Hispanic or not, but have gone to Latin parties or anything like that, you kind of experience the fact that we're big on family. We're big on connecting with people. We'll talk to anybody. And I really feel like, as far as building my social skills, this was very, very, very key for me. So this is something that I teach a lot, because I don't actually believe that a lot of people are introverts. I believe that a lot of people kind of had different experiences with people growing up, and they've created a story about what people mean to them. And I really believe that everything good in your life is going to come through somebody. So learning the art of connection, learning the art of meeting people, having conversations is something that you want to focus on no matter what. And as a real estate agent, honestly, that's how I get all my business. That's the kind of business that never goes away, guys. This is your sphere of influence. These are the relationships that you build. And I was just lucky enough to grow up in a place where having people around partying and connecting was kind of part of the gig. There's me in Altamont Springs in 1985. Obviously, the fashion sense continued. That's my sister. She obviously was not helping with the fashion sense at the time. So I moved to Orlando, or Central Florida, Altamont Springs, when I was 5 years old. And I always tell people that when I moved here, I thought fun had died. So Altamont Springs compared to Puerto Rico was such a big shift for me. I was like, people don't party here? I was like, especially if you guys know anything about our culture, Christmas is lit. Christmas is lit from Thanksgiving. From the minute the dishes get washed at Thanksgiving, it starts to pop off, right? For the rest of the year, probably through mid-January. When I came to Altamont Springs, it was dead quiet. It felt like the quarantine. And I was like, what is up with Orlando? So anyway, I ended up getting used to living here, and I'm very glad that we did move. I grew up in Lake Mary. Obviously played football for many years, did weightlifting, was a student athlete. And that taught me a ton about how to do business. I believe, the reason I call this Game of Homes is because I believe real estate's a way to play life the same way sports is a way to play life. The same principles of success that apply in real estate apply to every aspect of your life. So if you do things right here, you're going to do things right in life, and you're going to get the results. I believe the same thing about sports, right? Dedication, persistence, hard work, all those things. And those shaped me for sure. I played football for 9 years of my life, then went to the great University of Florida, guys, the Gators. Shout out to all the Gators, if there's any Gators in the building right now. So I went there, University of Florida, and just like many people, I went to college. Yeah, Rebecca, go ahead, do a little Gator chomp for me. the University of Florida, just like many people, when they go to college, they don't know what they're, really want to do with their life. And I didn't either. I just kind of chose a major and did it. And so I had a great time, but the reality is I had no clue what I was going to do. So after that, I kind of had this kind of dark place, right? I called it the postpartum depression. I mean, not postpartum, the postgraduate depression. The postgraduate depression. So, I spent this time after college really kind of being depressed because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I was always so proud of being a student athlete and doing all this stuff, but it didn't mean anything in the real world. So somehow, some way, I ended up working at a nightclub. Hold on, I got some. What are the new messages saying? Jessry, I see you smiling.
So we just have just a couple saying they love it. LOL, the young franchise, you're doing it. So cute. Relationships are huge from Rebecca. And that's what we got right now. And I'm sure people were laughing about your postpartum.
So I was in this postgraduate depression. I ended up working at a nightclub. I don't know, some of you guys might have lived in Orlando at the time or not, but there was this club called Antigua. I don't know if you guys remember this place. It was in downtown Orlando. Yeah, Rebecca was there. We were probably there on Latin night. I probably saw you back in the day. So I was actually bar back for a while, just kind of in this holding area, trying to figure out what I was going to do, and ended up meeting this gentleman that was starting a branch of a mortgage company. And this was around 2002. And I was so sick of working at the nightclub that I was like, dude, I'm heading out to, I'm just going to try this mortgage thing. I remember having a conversation with him. He was like, hey, do you want to try this mortgage business? And I was like, so what's a mortgage? Like a loan on a home? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get started. So I went into the mortgage business, and I always like to kind of tell you what I learned along the way, because I think this is pertinent, especially for you guys who are new in the business, or even you guys that have been in the business, because I came in just as scared as you, right? I came into a 100% commission business and I wanted to figure out. So first and foremost, I had no clue what I was doing. The same way some of you guys, I think somebody got like licensed in January. Don't worry about it. Nobody knows what they're doing before they start, okay? So I was scared. I was scared shitless, okay? Just like everybody else. I don't know what I'm doing. I want to do a good job. I want to make money. I don't want to go broke. But I did things anyway. And this is a very important lesson, and we'll touch on this, which is you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, at least at first. Once you get to a certain time, but it doesn't mean that you stop actions, because you can't stop actions just because you don't feel comfortable, okay? And I was committed to learning fast. And this is something that I teach my agents. So I've been coaching for 3 years. And I always tell my agents, actions get results, and build the learning muscle. Like if you don't know, you have to have a desire to learn, not just be like, oh, I don't know. And these days, I mean, back in the day, I didn't even have, like, way back in the day, we didn't have Google, right? So, now you should be like, okay, I don't know that. Let me research it. And you should have that research muscle. And then this would be no surprise to the women out there. I had some commitment issues. Okay. So I wasn't really committed to mortgages. I always had one foot in, one foot out. I really did, because I never really thought that mortgages was my destiny. And this is a good lesson for you guys out there, because I'm about to teach you how to think of this in the right way. Because sometimes I think when you're going into an industry, you're like, okay, is this who I am now? And it's like, no, it's not who you are. It's just what you're doing right now, right? And I really looked at it as like, man, I'm not a mortgage broker. I'm like, of course I'm not a mortgage broker. I'm Bobby, right? But I didn't know that at the time. I felt like, okay, is this what I'm going to do for the rest of my life? And it really put an undue pressure on me that you don't have to do. So as many of you guys know, there's this thing that happened called the market crash in 2008. And it kind of got me on this path where I left the industry altogether. I went and pursued some things that I wanted to do in entertainment. I always wanted to be an actor. I actually want to be a rapper at one point in time. I love the creative field, and I went and kind of chased that for a while, but realized that I couldn't, there wasn't really a good way to monetize that. Kind of missed my window for that. I think that I really have to be 1,000% committed to make it in something like entertainment. There is no backup plan with that, because too little people make it. And, it took me a while to kind of realize that, and eventually, and then I'm getting me back to real estate. So I worked for my buddy's marketing and branding agency. If you go on my personal Facebook profile, I actually did a really cool interview with my buddy, Nick Nanton, who owns Celebrity Branding Agency. That's who I used to work for at the time. And basically worked for him, started making money again, but realized there wasn't another level for me to grow. And as you guys are realizing this business and why you have to be around people who are committed to growth is you're going to get bored if you're not growing. You're going to lose that fire if you're not growing. And when you do, that's when you feel unhappy, because progress equals happiness, right? So to me, I wasn't growing. I didn't have another level to grow. And so I had to make a switch, and I didn't know what I wanted to do next, but luckily real estate found me again. I had my real estate license since 2005. So while I was a mortgage broker, I got my real estate license. Had a buddy of mine call me and said, hey, I'm starting this wholesaling company, this real estate investment company. I got some investors to back me. Would you want to do this? And I was like, it was funny because I had waited about 6 months for the right thing to happen. And this guy called me out of the blue. And I just knew, I was like, I think this is the call I've been waiting for. So I went ahead and I made the move to get back into real estate. So I got back into real estate heavy in 2014. And I want to kind of tell you how I looked at it this time around. Okay, so this is what I learned the second time around when I got into real estate again. So first of all, I sort of knew what I was doing. So, I had learned a ton through mortgages. So I knew a lot of the verbiage, the terminology. When I had my real estate license in 2005, I was doing 1 or 2 deals a year and just some of my investments, but I wasn't a professional, right? I wasn't actually committed to being a professional. This time was a little bit different. And the second thing I realized is I wanted to have more fun this time, guys. Here's the deal. Whether you're new or old in the business, if you're not having fun, you're going to be unhappy and you're not going to like this business. And there's a way to do it and have fun. Okay. There's a way to do it and deliver for your clients. Okay. And I decided at the time that I was going to have fun this time, because when I first started again in real estate, what happened was I was putting so much pressure on myself. I always have this hardcore pressure to deliver. And I was dreaming about real estate. I wasn't sleeping good. I was praying that deals didn't fall through. And I was all this anxiety instead of just being confident in the skills that and what I was bringing to the table. And it was making me unhappy in the industry, and I wasn't having fun. So finally I had this kind of like, come to Jesus moment with myself. And I said, look, Bob, either you're going to have fun in real estate or you're going to quit real estate. And if quitting's not an option and you're going to stay in, then you have to make a decision. Are you going to do better in real estate when you're having fun or when you're giving yourself anxiety and are miserable? And let's say I did just as good if I had, if I enjoyed it versus making myself miserable. Well, I want to choose the fun side. Let's just have fun. I don't think that I'll do better by giving myself massive anxiety in this business. Okay. You guys got to learn to be the calm in the storm for your clients. Don't let, the messiness of deals take you out of your joy, right? You're there to handle problems. That's who you are. You're the calm in the storm. And finally, I was finally committed, right? So I finally decided that rather than that real estate was who I was, it's not who I was. It was just a tool for me to get everything that I wanted. I was going to meet major investors. I was going to make major connections. I was going to get wealthy through real estate. It's just a vehicle, guys, and there's many facets of real estate too. You don't have to keep doing the same type of real estate that you've been doing right now. When you get started, you got to do a whole bunch of stuff, but eventually you can craft your business the way you want it to do the things that you really love to do. Okay. So, back in real estate, this was, about 6 years ago. And, I meet my partner, Gil Ramos, who's the guy here on the top right. And we just start cranking in real estate. I was just an agent trying to get my feet under me, get my business built up. And so my business partner, Gil Ramos, formerly the #1 exit realty broker in the state. Many of you know me, so you know that we switched over to the EXP model about a year ago. And so me and Gil were rolling since then, right? So I started doing pretty well in real estate. And, Gil was one of my mentors, but really it was him and a couple other people that really pushed me to get more coaching. And this is something that I would impart to you guys you got to get more coaching. Like, kudos to you for being on this call. Kudos to you to getting mentored by other people. And for me, Tony Robbins became what I call my cult leader. I don't know if you guys can actually see my shirt. It says Firewalker for those who are Tony Robbins fans. Walked on fire. I see you, Jen Cherie. So Tony Robbins, huge in personal development. Actually, one of the first guys to come up with the term coaching, personal development coaching. He's not a motivational guy, he's a coach. And he became a huge influence, not only for me in my personal life, but in how I coached agents. Because he really shifted me to realize something very important, which was that you can't build a business before you build a person. Okay. And that before you guys can be successful at anything, whether it's a relationship, whether it's in your business, whether it's investing, whether it's anything you want to do in life, if the stories in your head are terrible, like I call them bullshit stories, right? So if you have a bunch of bullshit stories in your head telling yourself you can't do things, I'm not worth it, I'm not worthy, I can't make it, or this will never happen for me. For instance, the people who are telling themselves these things during the pandemic are going to be in real terrible shape, especially when this is over. But if somebody's looking at the pandemic as, you know what, what's the blessings in this? And I can go off a list of like 20 blessings that are happening in this pandemic. But I tell you all this to say that when I coach agents, what I realized is no matter what plan I gave them, I could give them the multi-million-dollar plan. They used to come in my office and say, Bobby, give me the plan. I said, here's the plan. Do this for the next 30 days or 2 weeks and come back to me. And then they would come back to me and they would be freaking out like, Bobby, I'm freaking out. I'm not making money, whatever. And I'm like, well, did you do the plan? And they were like, no, I didn't do the plan. And I'm like, why didn't you do the plan? And at first I used to think, okay, well, maybe they don't have the work ethic, things like that. But it had nothing to do with that, guys. It has to do with the fact that if you go home and tell yourself things aren't going to work, or that you're not worthy, or that you don't deserve to be successful, or you don't deserve to be wealthy, you won't take the actions necessary. And that has to be fixed first. Okay, so we're going to talk about that in a second when I talk about the secrets of the dead agent. So once again, our coaching company is called Dead Agent Society. It's me and myself, Gil Ramos. We'll be doing more coachings here. This is actually, I appreciate you guys showing up. This is actually the first time we've really opened it up, Gentry, to a whole new crowd, because we usually do this live at Celebration Title. A lot of times it's a lot of our own agents that are in there and a few outside agents, but I'm very excited to open this up to the world because I think that what we teach at Dead Agent Society are street level tactics to get business done. We're not about, giving out big binders of stuff that used to be relevant 20 years ago. This is about brass tacks. We don't want you to be a dead agent. We want you guys to be a real estate entrepreneur. So it's a different style of coaching. Okay. So let's get into the 5 secrets of the dead agents. By the way, these will all be somehow killing or murder related because it's the dead agents. Okay. So it's okay. It's okay. First secret of the dead agents, okay, is kill the enemy within. Okay. We just talked a little bit about that. I'm going to expand on that. Kill the enemy within. Obviously what I'm talking about is your mind. Okay. So this was one of the most profound things that I heard Tony Robbins say. He says, you are not your mind. Think about that for a second, because a lot of you must be like me, right? You guys ever have trouble sleeping because your mind is just running? Or, you're just during the day and your mind is just running, telling you stories even before you come on your first Zoom call that you're going to be presenting, and you're having stories about, is this going to go bad? Or should I, is Gentry going to make sure she mutes everybody? I could be telling, and that's my mind just working and creating things, right? And what you have to realize is that you are not your mind. Your mind is a tool. So this is one of the most profound things Tony Robbins said at one of the seminars, and he actually held his hand out. Like, he's like, you're not your mind. Like, your mind's out here. You can actually watch your mind. Okay. It's separate from you. You have to watch it as a third party observer. You have to look at your mind and watch what you're telling yourself, because if you're not telling yourself the right things, you're going to be in a world of trouble in business and in life. So your mind is simply a tool. You can use it or it's going to use you. Okay. And you guys know what I'm talking about, because nobody here bats 1,000, right? Even I get into my own head sometimes, but here's the reality. That's not who your soul is. Your soul, who you are, is a whole different person. Your mind's just a tool. Your mind's not there to make you happy. Okay. Your mind is there to protect you, right? So when there were saber-toothed tigers roaming the earth, your mind was there to find things wrong, like, oh, some shit moved in the bushes, watch out, you're about to get eaten, right? Well, now we don't have saber-toothed tigers. What we have is, what are these people going to think about me? Should I even try this? What if I fail? Those are the things your mind is doing to you right now. But if you can get a hold of it, if you can say, okay, I could just reprogram this thing, then you can start telling yourself a different thing and actually seeing new opportunities. Not only that, you're going to start attracting a different kind of person. Okay. You ever know that, you ever realize that people that complain a lot tend to have more bad shit happen to them? Or people who are negative tend to hang around other negative people? Okay, so your thoughts are things, and they tend to attract the thing that you least want, right? So this will happen to you in real estate deals. Sometimes you guys are so worried about somebody screwing you over, and you're just that kind of mentality. And guess what? You get more clients that screw you over. Okay, where if you go in with the opportunity to serve, if you're like, dude, I add massive value. My job here is to add this client massive value, show my passion and energy and drive. Well, guess what? You're going to attract the right kind of people, and you're going to attract the right kind of clients. So keep that in mind. And remember that you can program it, okay? And I'll show you a few ways to reprogram your mind. This is your tool. You get to use it however you want, okay? So here's what you have to understand, okay? When it comes to what you believe about you, there is no true or false. Whatever you believe will always be true. Okay, so there are some things in life that are true and false, right? 2 + 2 = 4, that's true. 2 + 2 = 5, that's false. But when it comes to what you believe about you, it's purely your decision. It is absolutely your decision, and whatever you believe will be true. So the question becomes, what do you believe about you and why? Okay, and this is something we can't, this would be a whole nother seminar for me to actually figure out, because most of us are running programs from we were 5 years old. So, guys, there's going to be people in your life and people you've seen that are going to run this same program that they've had from 3, 4, 5 years old the rest of their life, and they're never going to get what they want because they're still running the program. Why? Because, your mom or dad wasn't there. Your mom neglected you. Something happened to you when you were younger. Some tragic thing happened, and you defined your entire story based on that thing. Now, guess what? You could define your entire story based on that thing in a positive way, or you can define it in a negative way. It's absolutely your choice. You're going to have to dig down and realize, if people tell you why you're a little negative or this and that, or you're noticing some things about you, or deep down in your heart that there's some things keeping you from that, you need to kind of go back in your story and find out where you picked up the bullshit story, because you picked up one and you've been just running it and running it and running it, and you got to just grab it out of your mind and reprogram that thing, because it's not true. It's whatever you believe will be true. So make sure you get a handle on that. So let me show you what success and failure looks like in 4 boxes, right? So we talked about programming your mind. So the quality of your life depends on the quality of your emotions, right? And the quality of your emotions depends on the meanings you give things, right? Remember that. You give the meanings to things. We could both experience a situation like this pandemic, and I could look at it as a massive opportunity, and you could look at it as the worst thing that ever happened to you. Somebody's going to get a different result because of that. So first and foremost, it starts with your belief. So whatever you believe will determine the potential you believe something has. So let's equate this to real estate. So you have this list of people in front of you. If you believe that every no gets you closer to your yes, if you believe that that every time you make a phone call, you get better and stronger, which means you increase the opportunity for you to get a deal the next call you make. If you believe that there's massive opportunity in talking to massive amounts of people, regardless if it's real estate related or not, you're going to believe there's a bigger potential in calling that list. Okay. But if you don't, let's say you're like, oh man, nobody wants to talk to me. I don't have anything of value to give. Well, you don't think there's a big potential in that. So guess what? You're going to take small actions. You'll probably call 3 people, get rejected 3 times, and stop making the calls. Okay. Because of that, you're going to get a shitty result, and then it's going to feed your belief. So that's the problem with these 4 boxes. They can work for you or they can work against you. If you have a small, if you have a bad belief or a small belief, you're going to believe in a small potential, which means you'll take a small action. You're going to get a terrible result, and it's going to reinforce your shitty story. That's the crazy part about these 4 boxes. However, if your belief is, hey, look, this is the way, when I sit down with a client face to face, I'm like, dude, I don't know what kind of opportunity come. I can't wait to hear their story. I can't wait to see the connections they give me. I can't wait to see the potential referrals I can get. And I'm excited about that. Then I'm going to set up more appointments. I believe the potential is big, so I'm going to take big actions. And guess what? Out of those appointments, you'll start telling stories. Like some of the stuff that happens to me at networking events or appointments, like, are almost unbelievable. Like it's almost like I come in there with such a huge hope for it. Like I might be looking for something, and then suddenly they talk about it. They're like, oh yeah, I have this opportunity. I'm like, oh my God, I was just looking for that. And so I get this amazing result, and then it reinforces my belief. So that's what this is: success and failure in 4 boxes, guys. So here, I'm going to give you a trick to kind of program your mind real quick. So I want you to throw your belief past your ability, then catch up to your belief. Okay. And I know this is tough to do, especially for new agents out there, but you have to believe in something past your ability right now. Okay. Because when you start anything that you've never done before, right? So hey, before you knew how to tie your shoes, you didn't. Right? But you had to believe you were capable of getting that done. Before you knew English, you learned a language already. Before you knew English, you didn't. You had to believe that you could learn it first, and then you figured it out along the way. And that's what you're going to have to do in order to stretch yourself and stretch your mind. I always put this little guy here in this little football example because I told you, like, football and life are very intertwined for me. So, you know, this little graphic here, really what it expresses is that, you know, when I played football, I was a wide receiver. And when a quarterback throws you the football, he doesn't throw it to where you are. He throws it where you think you're going to be. Okay. And so, as you know, there's a special little time when you're playing receiver in football where you're running, you know, the ball gets snapped, you're off, you're running. And the first thing you got to do is start looking back and spot the ball. You start looking in the air to see if the quarterback has released the ball. Well, when you look up, sometimes you get this little oh shit moment, because you realize that that ball is traveling a lot faster than what you're running. So what happens is a new gear kicks in. You thought you were running as fast as you could, but then this new gear kicks in and you're just like, da, 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 and you just run faster than you've ever run. And you know what? Sometimes you catch the ball and you're like, wow, that was amazing. I didn't know I had that extra gear. But even if you don't catch the ball, guys, wouldn't have you gone farther because you kicked it into that extra gear, because you threw that belief past your ability and you tried to catch up? And that's what I want to do for you guys. If you always want to keep stretching, you want to throw your belief past your ability and then catch up to it. And newsflash, guys, you're going to be scared. Okay. You know, being scared and doing it anyway is probably one of the best muscles to build. And you only do that if you believe that there's something great on the other side. When you believe that, hey, at someday this is all going to come together. For you new guys, or even you experienced guys that want to reach newer levels, you have to have that faith. I believe that real estate is a faith-driven business. I think that you have to believe in things before they happen. I mean, you decided to get into a business that where you work first with the opportunity to get paid second. I mean, that you have to have some faith in that. Okay, so let's go to secret number 2. Jen Cherie, I'll stop here real quick. Is there anybody who's asked questions that I need to know about? Are we good?
No questions, but just a good statement from Rebecca. She said earlier when we were talking about some examples, she said, think of the fears we had as a child. For some people, they have the fear of swimming. They might have this near drowning experience when they were a child that haunts them in their adulthood. So definitely a good example. You know, we're our own limiting beliefs, just like you just mentioned. So that was our last comment we had.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you guys, man, it you know, most of this stuff in our minds starts before we were 7, and we just keep running it. And so I would impart to you that you get into the personal development space. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but you really got to dig deep and figure this out, because it'll keep you from getting the things that you want in life. It really will. And it's a constant evolution, guys. I'm not telling you this because I figured it out. I costed you because I'm on my journey, and I want you guys to be on that same journey. Okay, so this
second question, we just had another question from Adele saying, Bobby, are you cold calling right now?
Am I cold calling? No, I'm not personally. Well, you got to define cold calls. Okay, so you know, I don't believe if you have a CRM and somebody actually wants information, I don't believe that's a cold call. That's a warm call, right? They've asked for information from you. So you got to treat that differently. I don't consider that cold call. So yeah, I call everybody who's interested in something I want. Like I don't, not old school. I don't open up the yellow pages and start calling numbers out of the blue and hoping somebody does business. To be quite honest with you, my business is primarily sphere of influence related. And we're going to get heavy into that later, Del, because I'm telling you that that's the business that nobody can take away from you, and that you can continue to build upon your entire career, and you will never have to buy a lead in your life. So what I would say is focus on your sphere of influence, and then it will never be a cold call. So we'll talk about that in a second. Secret number 2 once again, a little bit morbid, but a secret agent is a dead agent. So what are we talking about? Don't be a secret agent, guys, especially if you're new, or even if you're not new. I could tell you right now, I've been kind of a secret player in this game. I never really put myself out there, and probably in the past week I've had people reach out to me because I've done interviews on my Facebook now. Now I'm putting Zoom calls for everybody to be on. So even me, I'm starting to get out there and say, I can't be secret about the stuff that we're doing anymore. I'm just going to start sharing what I'm doing, and so that I can attract more of my tribe. And what I mean by that is, guys, you don't have to worry about who doesn't like you. You have to worry about the people that do, right? So don't be a secret agent. And what I would say is, on this slide, I have your story is your brand. So what I would teach you to is, don't run away from who you were, be more authentically you, right? So when I'm coaching an agent, I'm trying to figure out what their brand is, what they're great at, and do more of that. Share your story. You know, people gravitate towards stories. You are the brand. Logos don't sell brand. It doesn't matter whether you're Keller Williams, EXP, whatever. Look, guys, I'm not rah-rah about any brands. You know why? Because people do business with you because they like you and they trust you. It'll never be different, okay? Logos don't sell real estate, okay? Now, there's some different models and places. We'll talk about choosing real estate teams and things like that in the past, but I'm just telling you that it's about you and building out your story. If you want a free copy of my boy's book, Story Selling, it's there at nicknanton.com, just in case you want it. If you want to put that in to the chat, Jen Sheree, you can. So here's the deal. Where do you build your brand? And once again, Celebration Title is incredible at this, guys. You know, when you look at their celebration experience, when you look at that, they're trying to brand themselves in every little thing that they do, and you need to do that. So where can you build your brand so that people know who you are in your story? Well, one is just, you can create your own logo. You know, we have Celebration helping our team, you know, create their own logos and create your own brand. So you can do that. You can create your own logo. For instance, I created a logo. I have a commercial group within the EXP model. So I have Soto Commercial Group brokered by EXP. I got my own logo. I got my own brand, right? And that's me, and that's who I want to represent. You can create a niche. So by niches, we mean something specific that you deal with. I can tell you one niche I'm going to focus on right now is investors, right? Because I think that with this pandemic, investors are going to be coming out of the woodwork, okay? And I'm going to start really focusing my brand on working with investors. People are looking to pick up deals. That's a niche. If you're a veteran, a niche for you could be veterans, right? So, you know, get proficient at knowing VA loans and knowing special programs for veterans and tips for veterans. What's a niche right now, guys? Being the pandemic expert. I think right now, you guys can create a niche as being not only just you know, because I see a lot of agents right now doing like, I'm equipped to do virtual. So they're doing the virtual showings, not only a virtual agent, but a pandemic expert. Here's how I market properties in a pandemic. Here's how I work with buyers in a pandemic, and actually create that niche for yourself so you can start attracting clients that are maybe like, can I even buy right now? Can I even, like, is this smart to sell my home? Oh, selling your home it can be, you know, the same or even better than it was before the pandemic, because I have a special plan for that. That's my niche. That's my expertise. Okay. Obviously, your Facebook page, you want to be branded everywhere. Having your own website, obviously on your business cards, have your brand everywhere. Email banner. So if you guys get an email from me, having a nice little email banner with your logo and your photo and being professional, dude, brand yourself every single place. Flyers, everything you do. And I put website in there, came again. We already said that one. So here's a free tool. A lot of you guys know it. If you're not using it, I absolutely love this tool, canva.com. This is where I create most of my graphics, my flyers. I'm doing listing presentations on this. It's a free tool. If you want the pro version, it's not that expensive, you know, and you can get some further stuff there. So write that down, canva.com. You can create your own logo there. I'm creating my logos there. Every time I do an Eventbrite invitation, I just create a quick graphic. I'm like crushing Canva right now. So make sure you use that. Whoop, I think I took myself out of my screen share. Hold on. Okay. Okay, so secret number 3, rest when you die. Okay, so the first time I heard this was actually my football coach. So my football coach in high school was also the weightlifting coach. And so I had a buddy of mine named Greg Clayton, and it was the first day of weightlifting practice, and the football coach, which was one of these hardcore guys, you don't even see these guys anymore. I mean, these are like the old school hardcore football coaches. And he was like, "Hey, Bobby, where's Greg Clayton?" Because he knew I was friends with Greg. And I was like, "Oh, Greg actually just finished the wrestling season yesterday. So, he's just taking a little break, a little rest." And he goes, "You tell Greg Clayton to rest when you die." And I was like, "Oh," I was like, "This guy's intense," right? But what I mean with this is that you have to have a certain hustler's pace, okay? You cannot get into this business if you have an employee mindset, "Oh, this business ends at 4 p.m. or at 3:30 p.m. or at 5 p.m. This is a 24/7 game. This is a hustler's game. This is a weekend game. This is a game where when you see opportunity, you got to go get it. Like, this is a hustler's game. I love it because I think that's a muscle we all need to build. We need to build that hustler's pace. No matter what you do, you're never going to be wealthy without it. And it's just a good muscle to build. So, as the great philosopher Jay-Z said, Jay-Z, I'm a hustler, baby. I just want you to know I ain't where I've been, but where I'm about to go. I know I'm a little old school guy, so for you younger people on the call, Jay-Z's a famous rapper. You should go listen to this song, okay? But I believe that there's 4 stages of hustle, right? So some people, they don't really define hustle well, and so they think, well, some people are just hustlers and some people aren't, and you know who they are too. Like, some of you guys can probably name somebody right off the top of your head right now that you're like, that girl's a hustler. Like, I can tell you right now, Jen Cherie Samoa, that girl's a hustler, okay? She's a hustler. Rebecca Soto, hustler, right? I see you, Isis, you're a hustler, right? So, you can tell by the energy and what they bring to the game, and you have to have that. So here's what I consider my hustle spectrum, okay? This is very, very sophisticated, as you can see, okay? So I have a hustle spectrum, and the reason I put this spectrum up here is because I want you to understand that there aren't people that have hustle and the people that don't. You're a hustler no matter what. I think you're born a hustler. You're just somewhere on the spectrum, right? So this is my spectrum. The spectrum goes from not doing shit to being a total hustler, right? Like, that's the spectrum. And it doesn't matter where I catch you on this, you have the opportunity to get to the next level of hustler, okay? The only thing that I'm concerned about with on this is that arrow. When I meet somebody, don't judge yourself on where you're at right now. All you have to have is a desire to get more, a desire to grow. If you have that, I want to work with you. I don't care if you're just starting in January and just got licensed. I don't care. But if I feel the fire, if you have the desire to do it, that's all that matters. And that's the same way that you should weed people out too. You can catch somebody in a stage, but if you feel like they're committed to growth and they're going to go to the next level, then you can work with a person like that. A person going the opposite way, okay, you'll have a few interactions with that person. You'll know that they're trying to pull you down the spectrum, and then you have to at some point let that person go, okay? And that's a good way to kind of decide, who you're going to be around, who you want to work with, what kind of team that you're going to be working with. Okay, so here's my 4 stages of hustle. So you know that you're somewhere in this spectrum, okay? Number 1 is stuck, and it doesn't sound exciting because it isn't, but you're still a hustler even if you feel stuck right now. But there's certain things that you want to do in certain stages. So let me show you what you do when you're stuck. Okay, so number 1 is when you're stuck, movement is the most important thing. Okay, what do I mean by movement is you got to get off your ass. Like, you need to go start doing things. You need to start showing up to things. Now, granted, in a quarantine, you can't show up to too many things right now. But, if somebody were to say, "Hey, will you do a virtual tour?" Yes. Will you do an open house? Yes. Will you go meet with this person? Yes. Will you go to this networking event? Yes. So if you're stuck, you just need to get used to moving. I equate this kind of to when I started doing CrossFit years ago. I don't do it anymore, but I started doing it. And what I realized is that there was a lot of people doing CrossFit that had never worked out before. And what they were finding is new levels of movement. Like, they didn't actually know that they could work out this hard. Nobody had kind of pushed them to that level to figure out what they were capable of. And I really thought that that was something positive about CrossFit, because I saw some people actually getting competitive about exercising, people getting off their butt and moving and figuring out what their pace was. And they just had to say yes, right? They just had to do those reps. And so if you're feeling stuck right now, what I want you to do is you need to be on more Zoom calls. Okay, you need to be connecting with Celebration Title Group and seeing what other classes they have available. You need to, get on some panels. You need to be on 3 to 4 Zoom appointments with whoever tomorrow. Okay, because everybody's a client and you got to start moving. And this is the stage where you establish your pace. You go do a whole bunch of stuff and you realize, oh my God, I didn't know I could do this much, right? I didn't know that I could put in this kind of day, right? Number 2 stage is sputtering. So sputtering, you're starting to move, still not a sexy stage, but you're starting to kind of hop along a little bit. You're feeling good about this, Rebecca, and this is a different stage. So now you want to do some different things in this stage, Caroline. You want to do some different things. You're getting somewhere now, but you're still not moving as fast as you want. And by the way, guys, don't be afraid to have your video on, so I can see your face. I know it's kind of crazy and weird. But I won't do like my partner Gil Ramos and shout at you and make you be on the video. But if you can be, it's always good to see your face. So in this second stage of sputtering, you're getting somewhere, but maybe not as fast as you want. So you're moving. In this stage, you don't want to mistake movement for achievement. So I taught you in the stage of stuck to do a whole bunch of shit and say yes. Well, I don't want you to lower your pace, but I want you now to start eliminating some things that aren't productive, that aren't actually giving you business, that aren't actually having you hang around with high-level people, okay? And so you're going to focus on dollar productive activities. That sounded weird, didn't it, Jen? So you're going to focus on dollar productive activities, eliminate the things that are taking up your time but not making you money, okay? But keep the same pace and say no and prioritize. Stage 3, now we're starting to get into that sexy stage. Now we're rolling. Now we're starting to get some business rolling in. So this is what you have to start doing in this stage. So if you guys are here, kudos to you. Some of you guys that have maybe been in the business, Marcos, for 6.5 years. I see Joel's on. I know he's been in the game for a while. This is where you start seeing some results. So, and you're actually enjoying the hustler's pace, because when you guys start working out, like for those of you guys who don't work out, once you start, hopefully during this pandemic, you're starting to do that more. Guess what? If you do this for the next 30 days, and I believe we're probably going to be doing this more than 30 days, so get prepared, okay? So let's say 30 to 60 days, you guys are in there and you start working out. By the end of this 30 to 60 days, you won't know life without working out. You're actually going to enjoy it. You're not going to feel good anymore unless you work out. I know Joel knows this because he's swole. I mean, if you see Joel, he's swole up, right? Joel's on the call. He's like jail swole. So he works out and there he is. Do a little flex for him. Do a little flex for him, Joel. There it is. There it is, guys. So, Joel is used to working out. I can promise you that if he were to go 2 to 3 days without working out, he'd be depressed. And it's just because he's built it as part of his pace. It's the same thing with a hustler's pace. I don't feel right unless I'm out here hustling. It starts to get slow and I don't feel good. So you'll start feeling that way. And then watch out for the C word. C word is comfortable or complacent. This is the stage where you might start doing really well, but then stop doing the things that got you there. And the problem with that in real estate is if you stop doing the things that you got, which is usually just prospecting and following up, right? If you stop doing those things, you won't feel that pain until 60 to 90 days later, because you still got your closings and they're starting to come. And then 90 days later, it's like crickets and you're like, where'd all my deals go? Okay. So make sure when you're rolling that you double down on the things that are making you money and put some systems in place. And then finally, in this stage, you're going to want to push the edge and stretch yourself. So if you're at a point where you're rolling and you have something to teach, I encourage everybody on my team to be a coach. You need to start coaching. You need to start helping other people out. If that scares you, then do it. Start doing things that scare you. Somebody asks you to be on a panel and you're like, I don't know how I feel about being on a panel. Just say yes and do it and stretch yourself. Okay. And then finally, flow. I'm on a constant search for this stage. I don't know if anybody ever just reaches it and stays in it. I think you fluctuate in and out. But this is what flow looks like. You're going to start craving things that stretch you and help you grow. You're going to feel you are controlling chaos. and you're the calm in the storm. So this is going to be the point where you're going to have a client calling you freaking out, and you're like, hey, Susie, relax. I'm going to make a few calls. I'm going to handle this thing. I'll handle it. And you hang up the phone, even though you didn't even know how to even do it. Like you don't even have an answer, but you feel confident enough that you're going to figure that thing out. And finally, the universe seems to be working for you. And it is. I told you guys, once you get control of the mind, your thoughts are things, and they create everything around you. If you got a lot of dramatic clients, watch your mind, watch your brain, because it could be you attracting dramatic clients, right? If you have negative people in your life, watch what you're saying, watch what you're doing. You might be attracting that. But guess what? When you switch that, then the universe starts working for you, and you'll be like, how the heck did that happen for me? Like, that almost seems like it got sent from God. Well, I don't know what you believe in, but it doesn't matter, because if the results are there, you should want to do it, right? So here's the question you're going to have to ask yourself, guys. Are you committed, or are you interested? And this was a question that when I went to a Tony Robbins event, actually in Fiji. So I traveled to the other side of the earth to go see this Tony Robbins event, which Tony Robbins not even at. This is how crazy it is. So I go there, and the guy says, you got to make a decision. Are you committed, or are you interested? And you know what? However you answer this question, guys, I don't judge you. There's no judgment here. This is a judgment-free zone, okay? There's no judgment here, but you have to be honest with yourself, because if you're not committed, then you have to be honest enough to know that you're not, and you're going to have to start making some changes. And that's okay. If you're not committed, you're not going to do well in real estate. I can tell you that right now. Dabbling never works. And if it takes you a little bit longer to figure that out, it's okay. But just know that this is it. You have to be committed or interested. 5-6 years ago, I decided to be committed to real estate, and it's made a world of difference. I talk about it a lot with, with this EXP kind of thing happening. Like, you're not going to catch a wave unless you're already paddling, right? So there's like, for instance, this pandemic, unless you were preparing for what Tony Robbins calls winter. So a lot of investors out there, by the way, guys, have been waiting for this. Tony Robbins, I kept preaching. I mean, I was in seminars 3 years ago. Winter is coming, right? And what they meant by that was that the market's been too good for too long, and we always go through cycles. Well, we couldn't have predicted the pandemic, but here we are. And so there was people prepping for that thing. If you're committed to something and you work it, guess what? If an opportunity comes up in that game, you'll be able to catch the wave. But if you were just dabbling in it, you're going to be like everybody else, and you're going to hear about it. And by the time you hear about it, it's going to be too late. Okay. Any questions right now, Jen Cherie?
Nope. No questions.
Okay, cool. So secret number 4, perfection is a killer. And we talked a little bit about this. I don't know when perfection became a thing. And I deal with this so much. It's almost like when we switch to our adult life, we start thinking that we're supposed to be perfect at things we've never done before. And then we're super hard on ourselves, okay? Perfection is not really a thing, right? Like I told you before you knew how to tie your shoes, you didn't. Before you knew English, you did. And you weren't good at it at the beginning. So don't beat yourself up over perfection. It's actually a very, very low standard. And so this was another kind of like Tony aha moment. So I think Tony Robbins' mastery is he takes complex things and boils them down into very simple phrases. And the simple phrase he said to me, because I was absolutely a perfectionist, you can ask my girl, I've been on Zoom for like 6 hours before this, just trying to perfect how to use the polls, how to do this. Like, I am so this guy. But when I heard Tony Robbins say, perfection is the lowest standard, it shifted me, and I was like, what the hell does he mean by that? And what he means is that perfection is a low standard because it doesn't exist. And if you try to be perfect all the time, what happens is you'll try something, you won't be perfect, you won't get the result you want, and then you'll guilt yourself out of trying it again because you're so freaking hard on yourself because you weren't perfect. Or you're going to be so hardcore on yourself that you'll never try it. Right. So if I decided that I never wanted to do a live Facebook Live like I did the other day with my boy, because I thought, well, I don't know if I'll say the right things, even the Zoom, like I said, we're opening this up. I mean, I've already made 2 mistakes. I think I've said titties, right? Accidentally, right, Jen Cherie? And I think, what did I say? Postpartum
depression.
Hey, you know what? I screwed up a little bit. All right. But that's okay. We're going to keep it moving. And that's what you got to be. Right. So here's what you got to know. Growth happens at the edges. And this is why I say you got to stretch yourself. Okay. So when I say growth happens at the edges, it happens at the edge of your comfort zone. Okay. So, you don't have to put yourself in a situation where you know you're going to lose. That's not necessarily healthy. But at the edge of comfort, meaning that, hey, you kind of know, but maybe you don't know. Same thing as real estate. Most of you guys coming into real estate know enough to be dangerous, and with the right mentorship, with the right coaches around you, with the right team around you, with the right title company around you, you know what? Even if you mess up, you're going to learn something and you're going to keep stacking that experience. Matter of fact, you learn better with mistakes. I forget what the book is called, but there's a book out there that I read before with your brain. It's actually a physiological thing. When you make mistakes and you correct those mistakes, you actually learn things and you master things better than you would if you try to do them perfect, right? So you do them halfway good, you make a few mistakes and you move on. One thing I always like to say during this slide too, I'll be teaching a class on investing on the 24th, which I'll put in the chat at the end. This is a great way to invest too, right? So when you're talking to investors out there and they're wondering where the growth is at, where they're going to do the best, it's right out here. It's right out where that red dot is, right? So if you think about downtown Orlando, which is kind of where I specialize in, the growth opportunities in downtown for investing are going to be the Milk District, which is right on the edge of growth, right? It's going to be Paramore, right? Which is right on the edge of the city can only spread that way. You buy in those areas and the city's going to swallow you up at one time. South Downtown is another great place to invest that's around downtown. So growth happens at the edges, okay? So I'm going to do something weird, okay, guys? I'm going to do something that a lot of people don't do, which is actually I want to instill one fear in you, okay? There's one fear I think you must have, and this fear is going to make you do things that scare you, right? Because I told you the magic of this is not being scared. Courage is not being scared. It's doing it anyway, right? So the one fear you have to have is the fear that you won't reach your full potential, okay? That looms over me every single day, that fear. Whenever I run into something that I'm like, I don't know if I feel comfortable with this, I'm a little scared about doing this, my main fear comes into play, which is, dude, you know what? I was made by a big creator. I got a lot of potential and I want to make sure I reach it. The last thing I want to do is be this guy staring in the mirror, okay, at 60, 70, 80 years old and look at myself and say, I lived somebody else's life. I did what everybody thought I was supposed to do. I didn't chase my dreams. I didn't go after it the way that I wanted to. And that is the worst kind of thing to be, right? Regretful for the things that you didn't do. So number 5, any questions right now, Jen Cherie? Okay, good. So finally is, I say don't die alone. And what I mean by that is, guys, you have to have a good team around you. I mean, I'm looking at this call right now, and there's a lot of people from my team here, I see Celebration that's part of my squad. I see Rebecca Soda part of the squad, and the reality is that you do not want to go at this business alone. You got to get around the right people and the right partners and the right coaches. Okay. So to me, this is the trifecta. Okay. If you want to succeed in this business, okay. And this is for experienced agents too. I mean, I always kind of make this presentation and say it's for newer agents, but there's some agents that need to reset kind of mindset. And I'm going to tell you right now that you need these 3 things in order to take your business to the next level. One is a great real estate family. Our crew is strong, from my business partner, Gil, to all the people that we're partnered up with, from Veronica Figueroa to Josue Soto, to Rebecca Soto, to Carlos German, people you can mastermind with, people who are going to be there at whenever you need them, that you need the right real estate family. Number 2, you need great partners. You need Celebration Title. You need Home First Lending. Those are our 2 main partners, and they have to believe in the things you believe in and help you out. These are guys I can call on that are part of my team. When I talk to a client, I introduce them to my team. It's not about just me. So when a client sees that, hey, here's me and here's my team, and then you can put that into your listing presentation. Here's my title company. This is the person you can reach out to if you have questions about title. This is the person you can reach out to questions about financing. Here's who you can reach out to at my office in case you have questions about anything or you can ever reach me, okay? These are the things you want. So those, my friends, are the 5 secrets of the dead agents. So let's do a little contest now, Jen Cherie, since we got a $25 Amazon gift card. I know that we all want that. Because right now when we're trying to save money, it's great to have a $25 gift card. I won a little contest that we did when Jen Cherie was on a call the other day. I won a ring light, one of those ring lights. So which is perfect because I'm going to be doing a lot of these and I need some lighting. So Jen Cherie, here's the question. So this is for whoever answers this first in the chat. So for those who aren't on the chat or don't know where it is, it's probably on the bottom of your screen. It says chat, open it up. Okay. Because I'm going to
Your finger's ready. First one to answer the question is going to win the 25.
Is going to get a $25 gift card. So here it is. What is the first secret of the dead agents?
All right. Waiting for the answers to come in. Nothing. Yvette said, kill the enemy.
Okay, they're close.
Very close. Esteban said, dear poet. Nope. Yvette said, kill the enemy of the mind.
Close enough, okay? Close enough. It was kill the enemy within. Kill the enemy within, which is the mind, okay? So you win. Congratulations to you. Kudos to you.
Put your email below in the chat box, Yvette, and then I'll get that sent over to you later today.
Fantastic. Okay, so now we're going to get into the meat of this thing. So now I got your mind right. You know, got to get your mind right. And now we're going to go into how we're going to kind of get into the mind of the entrepreneur. So now you're personally got the mind right. Now we need to talk about what entrepreneurs do a little bit different. So I got to tell you guys something. You guys got some balls, okay? You guys got some balls because you have chosen to get into a business where you work first with the opportunity to make money second. And it's not even guaranteed. It's the opportunity to make money second. Okay. I just want to give a shout out to you guys. If you're on this Zoom call right now, you guys are soldiers. Okay. You guys are true soldiers because very few people, I'd say maybe 1% of the world would be willing, probably less, would be willing to do something that's 100% commission, where it's solely based on your hustle in order to get a check. That is something incredible. That is a decision most people are too scared to make, and you've already made it. So kudos to you, okay? So I want to ask you guys a question, and maybe we can put some of these in the chat. So here's a question I have for you guys. Get in your chat and give me some feedback, and then Jen Cherie will read it out. What do wealthy entrepreneurs do differently than agents or employees? You know, just give me some. What do you think? What do wealthy entrepreneurs do differently than in just a traditional agent, you know, real estate agent, or an employee?
So we got some answers coming in. Caroline says, have a morning routine.
I love it. I love it. Morning routines. You'll see that in a ton of success books. Morning routine.
Esteban says, write it down. And then Yvette says, they never stop working. Jane says, never give up. And Yvette says, there's no 9 to 5. Elsa says, we take the chances. Joelle says, waking up at 4 a.m.
Hey, slow down.
Probably helps.
Slow down.
Well, he has a newborn, so I'm sure he's waking up early because of her.
You know what he's doing.
They got a little baby girl to take care of.
He got to bench press at 4. That's the first thing he got to get done. All you guys are correct. I mean, you know, and you know, you can work your butt off too, but you know, there's always time to celebrate things too. So, you know, you got to be leery of burnout, but yes, you have to have that hustler's pace, and you have to have that persistence and risk taking. And Esteban said, write things down, write your goals down and things like that. So we're going to talk about the difference, which is just thinking different. Okay. So here's the first thing: cost versus investment. Okay. If you're an agent, realize that you are now starting your own business. Okay. Don't think of yourself as an employee, or I hang my license here or whatever. This is your business, and there's very few businesses, ask around, that you can start for about $3,000 a year. And that's pretty much what it'll cost you to be an agent. I mean, by the time you pay your MLS fees, you know, $1,500 here, you know, other fees that you might have to pay, some marketing, let's say $3,000 a year. What business do you know that you can start for $3,000 a year, sell one of your products, and actually make money? So, you know, make a $6,000 commission pay off the $3,000 you spent and still make money. There's very few businesses. You guys are in a great business, man. We get paid a lot of money to do what we do. And so I want you guys to start to think about investing in yourself. You know, one thing my business partner says, invest like you believe in yourself. You know, because when I get a lot of agents who are like, oh, you know, what do you think about paying for leads? I'm like, dude, if you got the money to invest in leads and you need leads, invest in yourself. Pay for those leads and then crank, you know, and go hustle and make sure you call them. You might be surprised to know. I should do this as a next question, but we're only giving out two cards, so I won't do it. But out of curiosity, does anybody know what percentage of agents don't actually call the leads that they pay for? So a lot of agents will say, oh, the leads that I pay for don't work. And do you know what the percentage is of agents that don't actually call the leads they pay for?
We got 95% from Elsa.
Oh, shit. That's a lot. Go ahead. Willis. That's too high. We're not that bad.
Second, anybody else have any good guesses? Waiting for them to come in. We got Esteban said 80%.
Okay. So
70% from 70%. Lewis.
So you guys are really thinking really bad about yourselves, okay? It's not that bad. It's actually 47%. So 47% of agents don't actually call, and that's about half the agents that complain about their leads, right? So you actually have to call those leads. So cost versus investment, and that's in your business. This week, while everybody's freaking out, I've already invested in a better version of Zoom. I've invested in a better version of BombBomb. I bought 2 or 3 domains. You know, I'm getting my business set up for the new world. And I understand that it's not a cost to me. It's an investment. I have to make this investment now or I won't be prepared, because there's going to be a huge pendulum swing. Guys, this will pass, and people are going to come out of the woodwork, and you better be prepared, and you better have built your business and be ready for this. So here's some of the things that that wealthy people do, and somebody mentioned it, that morning routine. To me, that's personal development. Guys, there's no success book such as Think and Grow Rich, which write this down. Please, if you have not read Think and Grow Rich, this is a classic. This is like a must. You know, this is a top 5 book of life you must read, is Think and Grow Rich, okay, by Napoleon Hill. Look, personal development is everything. Guys, remember when I told you that your mind can mess with you? Well, guess what? No matter how good I am or how good you are, garbage starts to seep back in every single day, right? So you'll be like motivated today. You're like, I'm gonna shut my friends out, my siblings out that say I can't make it in real estate. And I'm just pumped today. And then the next day, somebody will say something to you and you'll get right back down into that terrible story. The only way I know how to combat this is to start every day with some personal development. To really, you know, this could be prayer, this could be meditation, this could be books, this could be all these things. But there is no success book you will read that doesn't talk about the wealthy people being involved with reading massive amounts of books. So you can do audiobooks, podcasts, conferences, seminars, paid coaching. You know, I used to think, how do people get any? I used to see people at conferences all the time, and I'd be like, how do you guys even do business? You know, like by going to, and you go to these conferences. You know what they go to these conferences for? They go for connections. They go for new nuggets. They go for energy. And in those 3 months between their next conference that they go to, they're accomplishing amazing things in half the time because they have learned a new nugget from high-level people. So personal development is key. Once again, we got to think different, short-term versus long-term. So I'm going to give you the number, I'm 41 now. I just turned 41 during this quarantine, right? Not the best time to have a birthday, but we enjoyed it nonetheless. But here's what I would tell you. This is Bobby, 41 Bobby. This is what 41-year-old Bobby would go back and tell 25-year-old Bobby or whatever. And it's think in 10-year terms, right? Tony Robbins says, we overestimate what we can do in a year, but we drastically underestimate what we can do in 10 years, okay? So here's why I tell you this, because I made most of my mistakes in my 20s because I was trying to get somewhere fast. And what was happening is I was skipping lessons. I was taking shortcuts. I was spending money in places I shouldn't be spending money, investing in things I shouldn't be investing in because I wanted to get rich quick scheme. That shit does not exist, okay? Get rich quick does not exist. If you think in 10-year terms, in other words, what does my life look like in 10 years? What can I accomplish in 10 years? And then ease the pressure off of you of this short time frame. Like, I got to be here in 2 years. You know, I used to think that 2 years was a long time when I was in my 20s. Now I blink and 2 years went by. Like I can't even believe we're in April right now. Like, what happened? 2020, what? Like, and then we're going to blink again and it's going to be Christmas. And I'm going to be like, what happened to this year? Well, if I think in 10-year terms, what it'll allow you to do is take some of the anxiety off yourself and get to work. Just get to work now. Let things build as they should build. Let your momentum stack. Let your experiences stack. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to get into how to actually grow your business exponentially. So another thing you might want to write down is there's a coach out there written several books named Jay Abraham. Jay Abraham is a master of business. And this is where I got this 3 ways to grow your business exponentially. Okay. And this is, you know, he's one of Tony Robbins' favorite guys and, you know, big time entrepreneur. So there's 3 ways to grow your business exponentially. And what you'll be excited about is that you don't have to grow any of these things that much in order to double your business. You just have to grow each one a little bit. Okay. So number 1 is there's only 3 ways to increase your business. 1 is increase the number of clients. Okay. So if I were just to increase the number of clients that I had or the leads that I had by 10%, okay. Number 2 is increase the value of the transaction. If I were to even just increase the value of my transactions 10%, okay. And then increase the speed of repurchase. Actually get my clients to buy again and again from me at a faster pace. Even if I increase that by 10%, when I stack those 3 10% together, I end up doubling my business. Okay. So keep that in mind. These are the 3 ways: increase the number of leads and number of clients, increase the value of the transaction, increase the speed of repurchase. And we're going to go through ways to do this. So here's how you increase the number of clients you have. Okay. So number 1 is you can buy leads. Okay. So some of you guys are in a position to invest in yourself. Some of you aren't. But as you know, Zillow, Realtor.com, with EXP, we have one called Making It Rain. There's a lot of lead programs out there where you can pay and get a good value for the lead and work those leads and invest in yourself. Okay. And for those people already now, I'm hearing, and I don't know, and you'd have to check in, but I think Zillow right now, and I don't know if this is for new people coming onto the platform or not, but I know they're giving discounts for Zillow leads during this quarantine time. So there's a lot of people out there giving a lot of deals out there because we're in this time. So think about that if you were thinking about investing. The second way is you can pay, I call these pay later leads. Okay, so there's certain things out there such as OpCity. So if you go to opcity.com and sign up, your brokerage has to be signed up and approved with OpCity in order to do this. If you're with EXP, we are approved. So you can go in there and sign up. What's cool about these pay later leads is you don't have to pay for the lead up front. You just do a referral fee on the back end. And it fluctuates, but it usually hovers around 35% referral fee. To me, that's a no-brainer. Like if you're like, oh, I'm an introvert, I don't have a huge sphere of influence, I've already talked to everybody I know, and you just want more lead flow, OpCity is a really, really good system to get on. Number 3 is join a leads team. So whoever you're with, whatever brokerage you're with, join a team. You know, I see there was people from the Figueroa team on the call. Veronica Figueroa has a very, very successful team. My partner Gil Ramos has one of the most, actually the #1 Zillow team in the Southeast from Maryland to Key West. You know, if you join a leads team, you don't pay for leads and you do the same thing. There's a referral at the end to the team leader. So, you know, you can pay 25, 35, some people 45%, whatever it is. As long as you're on a successful team and you're getting leads and closing them, you can make 6 figures even though you're paying those referral fees. And by the way, you're also going to get more and more clients through the referrals you get from the people you close. And then finally, and this is my favorite, is master your sphere of influence. Guys, this is the one thing that nobody can ever take away from you is your sphere of influence. This is how I've got all of my business. It is just meeting people just like you, being friendly, being accessible, going to events, going to networking events, and just meeting more people. So I'm going to show you some sphere of influence strategies. Okay, here's my first strategy for this, and you have to do this no matter what, because you have to be organized with your sphere. Okay, you can't hope that you remember. So this is what I call your Dream 100 list. You're going to want to form a list. Do a spreadsheet or a Google spreadsheet. Okay, and you're going to download all your contacts from your phone. So your phone will allow you to download spreadsheets. Your Gmail or email provider will let you download an Excel of all your contacts. Go through your Facebook, go through your LinkedIn, okay? Go through all of these, and it's going to be tedious, okay? But start putting together a spreadsheet with first name, last name, email, phone number, and physical address, okay? And I want you, and these are just the people that already know you, right? And they don't have to be best friends, but the people that know you, okay? This is what I call your Dream 100 list. These people are dying to do business with you. You know why they haven't? Is because you haven't contacted them. That's the only reason. You know, one thing my business partner Gil always says is, you know, there's this book out there that says, you know, people want to do business with their friends whenever possible. You flip the page and it says, people want to do business with their friends even when it's not so possible. People are dying to do business with you. You're just not connecting with them. So make this spreadsheet, and I want you to contact every single person on that spreadsheet. And guess what? Right now you have the best excuse, which is just to check in on them. Okay? And ask them
So
how.
we did have one question. Sorry to interrupt. Caroline said, what if you don't have email, phone, and address of the people you know?
Well, that's hard to do these. I mean, you don't have anything?
I guess that's what
You
she
can unmute yourself, Caroline. That's okay.
She said, what if you don't have, she said, not from everyone. She doesn't have all that information.
Well, you look, if you look through your phone, obviously you should have their phone, right? If you look through your Gmail, you should have their email. When you follow up with them, however you follow up with them, get the rest. That's part of the reason for the call, right? So if you just have their email, tell them you want to set up a call with them or something, get them on the phone and then chat with them, catch up with them, do a Zoom with them. And then in that call, go ahead and get the phone number, get the physical address. Matter of fact, that before the pandemic, I was using the physical address as part of the reason, because I want you to kind of start the conversation by saying, hey, Cindy, I just wanted to catch up with you. First of all, how are you doing during this? Asking those questions. I was like, well, part of the reason I'm calling you is I'm actually organizing my database. I just got into real estate full time, and I'm looking to kind of organize. And I'd love to get I have your email, I have your Facebook and all that, but I'd love to get your physical address so I could like send you a card sometimes. Send you some information sometimes. And then you kind of drop the seed that you were in real estate. And now she's going to start asking you a ton of questions about what you're doing. Oh, you got into real estate. How's that going? Oh, I'm part of this great team, and I'm happy to serve people, and just start that conversation. So use this as an exercise to get the rest of the information, Caroline. And guess what? Through making just this calls, through organizing this, I think you're going to end up getting about 2 or 3 deals. Almost guaranteed. Just because you picked up the phone and called somebody. Somebody's going to say, actually, I'm dying to buy a house right now. I just don't know if I can right now with this thing. Oh, absolutely you can. I can go do a virtual tour for you. Matter of fact, if you were looking at new construction, I think new construction is a huge opportunity right now, because a lot of people are going to want to buy properties virtually, and they're going to feel a lot more comfortable with a property that's brand new. So this is something you can do right now. So pro tip, go out there and do videos at builders right now. Make an appointment with a salesperson at a builder. Tell them you want to come out. Tell them you want to shoot videos and market their product, and let people know, hey, were you thinking about buying before this pandemic happened? Dude, don't stop the flow. I can send you all the information about this neighborhood. I'm here at the property right now. I can do virtual tours. The property's brand new, great builder, D.R. Horton, Hanover Builders, whoever it is. They have warranties on their home, so you don't have to. You can feel safe buying a home virtually right now and making this process happen. That's a pro tip that you can do right now, Caroline. The other thing that you want to do right now, as far as your sphere of influence, is, and the other reason I told you to make this spreadsheet, Caroline, is because once you get it together, you can upload it in one shot to your CRM. So for those who don't know what a CRM is, that's a customer relationship management software, and all of you should have one or the other. There's some free ones out there you can use. It could be as simple as possible. The best CRM to use is the one you use, right? So you don't have to pay anything flashy. Now, if you're with our group, you get one included with us called KV Core, which is super powerful. Okay, that's part of what we offer on our team. If you're not with a team like that, then there's plenty of them out there. I mean, there's some called HubSpot, and there's some one called Close. I mean, is there any simple ones, Jen Cherie, that you recommend to anybody?
There's Lion Desk, which is very reasonable. Follow Up Boss, another really good reasonable one. If you do have a little money to spend, Boomtown is a great one that I hear from a lot of agents. Again, it is a little bit pricey, but you get what you pay for. So in BombBomb, actually, if you guys don't know what BombBomb is, Bobby kind of briefly mentioned it. To do more videos, they actually have their own built-in CRM, but it can also integrate with your own CRMs. I know it integrates with KV Core, Boomtown, Lion Desk. But if you are on I'll put those example of CRMs in the chat. So depending on your price budget, there definitely is a CRM. And just like Bobby said, the best one is the one you use. So even if you can't afford one, do an Excel spreadsheet for just right now, or if you have a Google account, Gmail has some Google Docs that you can utilize. So definitely don't give yourself an excuse on why you can't get started today.
Exactly right. So if you have zero money, you can't do a spreadsheet where you do a running spreadsheet where you write down notes when you talk to people, and then that way because every experienced agent on this call will tell you when they get busy sometimes, and if they don't have a CRM, they'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe I forgot to call Jerry. Jerry was like hot lead from my open house 2 months ago, and for some reason I just didn't follow back up with him. And I mean, that's just money you're leaving on the table. So make sure you have a back-end system. Every successful top producer uses a CRM. It's an investment in your business. Okay. So this is a video that is really pertinent. Okay. So it's changed a little bit because we're in a quarantine right now. So you can't go physically see people, but you can do what we're doing right now and connect with people through Facebook, FaceTime, Facebook Messenger, and all these things. And this is a video that I always like to play because I think people really overcomplicate how to build your sphere of influence. So hopefully you can hear it. Can you hear it? Not playing?
Not playing yet.
Okay. So that might, I don't know.
Oh, no, I can't hear anything yet.
Okay. So. Nothing. Let's see. What is my volume situation?
I hear something, but it's kind of low.
It's kind of low. Okay. Yeah, that could just be something. It's tough. I tried this before I got on. But anyway, the video was really talking about. It was a funny video from Saturday Night Live, and they had a character on the little like new skit that they do, and it's Big Papi, which is a baseball player for the Boston Red Sox, and he has this really strong Dominican accent. And he's always getting made fun of because he is like a spokesperson for so many products that they just make fun of him. Like he is a spokesperson for every type of product. So he goes and does this skit that he started this new dating website, and it's called Go Outside. And he's like, you want to meet some people? Go outside. And I love the video because it's that simple. Like some of you guys are like, I don't know enough people. I don't know everybody. And really guys, you just have to go outside. Like, a lot of people say, Bobby, you know a ton of people. And they're like, how do you know? I'm like, I just go places, right? Like I show up, I'm the guy that if I tell you I'm going to be at your party, I'm going to be at the party. I'm not the guy that tells you he's going to be there and then doesn't show up. Or, if I'm invited to a Zoom call or if I'm invited to a networking event, like I'm going to show up and I'm going to meet people. And so I want to show you guys how you can build your referral-based system, because the reality is that everyone, we sell an incredible product, guys. We sell a product that everybody needs, and not everybody gets to sell products like this, okay? So we sell a product that everybody needs. Everybody needs a home. And so every person you talk to will lead you to business if you develop a good relationship. As long as you're talking to good people, you're going to get business. So where can you get business? Well, regular life. I mean, this could be as simple, guys, as wearing your name tag to the grocery store. I mean, I know agents on my team, tons of them who've gotten business from simply standing in line at the grocery store with their name tag on. So you can do that. Social events. I don't know how many parties I've been, I picked up business, you know, but be cognizant of not being the business talker when it's not a business situation. All I do is make friends, guys. All I do is make friends. Trust me, the conversation will get back to business. They'll ask you what you do. We'll get in a conversation, and then just ask a ton of questions and listen to them. I'm telling you, you're going to get great connections and referrals. Business events, obviously. The next one is organizations. This is a pro tip because I started doing this in the past 2 or 3 years. I think joining organizations, actually being a part of, rather than just showing up to their events, join an organization you're passionate about. What could that be? It could be a chamber of commerce. If you're a big pets person, it could be the Pet Alliance or some other pet related organization. You know, if you're, I used to be the president of Jewish Chamber of Commerce, even though I'm Puerto Rican, we can talk about that later. But I just joined these groups because I wanted to be around high level people. And what happens in organizations, when you become part of a board or the organization, you build deeper ties. I'm currently part of the South Downtown Development Board. We have about 20 people on our board. All of them are business owners or politicians or people of stature in the community. And guess what? I'm getting business from it. Why? Because they see me once a month. I'm contributing, I'm adding value. And they're like, why would I work with somebody else in real estate when I got a guy on the board who's sharp, who's contributing value, who I like, who has a great personality, and this is who I want to work with, okay? And then finally, social media, of course. You want to go and connect with people on social media. So I'm going to teach you a strategy right now, a social media strategy that is so simple, even for those of you who aren't big social media people, that will help you get business today. I call this the green light strategy. So this is what I want you to do today and every single day, especially through this quarantine, is I want you to go to your personal Facebook profile, okay? I want you to click on your friends tab, okay? It'll drop down all your friends, right? Scroll through and see which one has a little green dot next to them, okay? That person is online right now. Reach out to at least 10 people a day, guys, through that messenger. How do you do it? Add some value first. Go on their page and I want you to contribute some kind of comment to one of their posts, right? I want you to congratulate them on something they did well, or say something funny on their post. Contribute. And then with the intention of actually going into a messenger conversation with them to actually connect with them and talk and have a deeper conversation, and maybe ask them to get on a Zoom call with you right now. Hey, after this thing over, let's catch up for some coffee. You want to start having more conversations with more people. I'm telling you, it'll get back to business. But to me, that's an easy way to build your sphere. There's plenty of people on your Facebook profile who you haven't talked to in a long time. And what happens is if you switch over to the messenger conversation, Facebook actually looks at it and says, oh, wow, they're talking through Facebook Messenger. They must be better friends. So now they're actually going to start getting more of your posts on their profile. So this is a good practice to have. And if you just want to hop directly into a Facebook Messenger message, you can easily do that by simply asking people how they're doing through this. Are you holding up? Are you staying sane? Have you killed your boyfriend? Have you killed your girlfriend? You know, are you thinking about getting a divorce? Do you need a new house? Whatever, right? This is the time to catch up with people and do it through Messenger, okay? So I want to give you another little pro tip. So I'm about to tell you the 6 reasons why most people buy and sell properties. What's good about this is people tend to put their whole life on Facebook. I'm not like that, but most people are, and they put all their stuff that's happening in their life. So out of curiosity, does anybody know, can anybody name some of what they think are the top 6 reasons why people buy or sell in the chat? Just a few. We'll just name a few. Or unmute yourself, guys. It's okay. Essentially, I'll mute you again if you don't mute yourself.
Relocation.
So is that set divorce?
Relocation, right? So what would be the reason for somebody relocating? Isis?
The reason they're moving to another state.
Right? For what reason? Just name me a reason.
To retire.
Retire, new job, something like that. Okay. What else? What are some other reasons, guys?
We got new job, divorce, We had another one that said relocate. Yeah, people will definitely move. You get 3 transactions if someone's divorcing.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, guys,
Kids, dogs.
what'd you say,
That's what
kid?
Caroline wrote. Kids and dogs from Caroline.
Dogs are kids. So yeah, same thing, right?
You need a big backyard for your dog.
There you go. There you go. And be on the lookout, guys. Look, there's going to be a lot more divorces happening during this. Okay. And so it sounds grim, but that is going to be a niche, right? There's going to be a niche. There's going to be people looking to move out. They're going to have to sell their home. They're going to have to find new homes. They're going to have to do all those things. And you guys can be a resource for them and help them out through that tough time. So you guys are right spot on the money. So the first reason that people buy in, top 6 reasons, first reason is I love you, right? So we say I love you, which means like you got a new girlfriend, a new boyfriend, you get engaged, as you see Jen Cherie. You're going to get married. So I love you is one of the number one reasons. You're going to need a bigger place. You're going to need your own place together. It's going to be so cute. But then the second one comes up, and it's I hate you. So we just talked about it, right? Divorce, breakups, things like that. There's going to be a lot of those during this quarantine. Trust and believe. So that's the next one. Guess what? People put all that stuff on Facebook. You can reach out to them with a consoling word. Talk to them. Hey, if you ever want to just talk about this, let's get together and be a value add for those people. They're going to need to buy a new place. Okay. Or you're going to need to help them get out of that situation and sell a home. Okay. The next one is birth, right? Having new kids or new dogs for some of you. You're going to need more space. You're going to need more room for the kids. And then unfortunately death, people pass away, people inherit properties. These are all reasons that people are going to sell. So the reason I'm telling you all this is because a lot of people will say, well, how do you get repeat customers? Remember, we talked about, one way to earn more money is to have repeat customers. Well, some people believe that people only rebuy a property every 5 to 7 years. No, they don't. That's the average, but most people will do it sooner when one of these 6 things come up, right? So the next one is promotion. So Izzy or Isis, whatever you want to be called. I would call you Izzy because Isis just sounds too aggressive. Promotion. So promotion might lead to relocation. Maybe they got promoted and they're getting moved somewhere. Or they're making more money. They want a new place. They're making more money. They got a new car. They want to get a new garage for it, right? And then finally, demotion, which is somebody gets fired. You're going to see a lot of this now too, right? You're going to see a lot of people that are going to have to downsize. You're going to see a lot of people that are going to say, I need the money from my home right now. I need to sell quickly. Okay. So be on the lookout for those. This is a connection calendar. Very tough right now, obviously, because of the quarantine, but this is what I was preaching to you guys. This is just a little plan that you can have for yourself to just get on track and track the amount of interactions you're having per month. This is how I get all my business. So you can see on the top left, monthly success goals, 2 open houses per month, visit 1 builder a week. I told you, builders are low hanging fruit. For those of you guys who don't know, new construction deals are some of the easiest deals you'll ever do. You literally, you want to be more value add than this, but technically all you're doing is introducing them to the builder and they literally write the contracts. They pay you more money. They manage the process. Guys, you should be visiting a new builder every week. And by the way, it's great content. Right now, everybody's looking online for content. Everybody's on Facebook all freaking day long. Why not do videos with sick homes in sick areas of Orlando? And then the other one is 1 networking event a week. Right now, it would be Zoom events, right? Zoom happy hours. And dude, start meeting some people. Start looking at the faces out there that are doing some stuff in the real estate game that you need to connect with. For those of you guys that are in the EXP model and want to meet other agents, dude, you need to be on these Zoom calls. You need to be connecting with agents. You need to be out there asking people, if they need help, if they need coaching, if they want to be a part of your crew. And then 1 social media post a day. Anything, having to do with your personality. Don't be too salesy. Do something that's authentic, shows your personality. And then, as I mentioned, join 1 organization. Just 1. Don't do too many, guys. You won't have enough time. So just do 1 organization and knock that one out of the park. Okay. So back to 3 ways to grow exponentially. So we've talked about increasing the number of clients. We've talked about that. Now we're going to talk about increasing the value of the transaction. So how do we make more money with each transaction? Okay. So I'm talking about bigger checks. So tune in. Increasing transaction value. How do we do that? Number one, just go after bigger deals, guys. I mean, it sounds really simple, but I find a lot of times that people tend to chase a lot of these deals, you know, especially if you're new, you think that maybe you don't have a skill set to go after a bigger deal. Yes, you do. Most of the time, bigger deals are easier. I told you, you can get paid more money through a builder and do a deal with a builder. It's going to be the easiest deal you're going to do. Same thing with people that have money and can buy more. Like they don't complain as much oftentimes as somebody would. I mean, you tell somebody who's in a lower price range, you know, that you got to pay an extra $50 for something, they freak out. You know, you tell that to somebody who's buying a $500,000 home, they're like, that's cool. Just no problem. I'll pay that transaction fee. I'll pay that. No big deal. Do open house in higher price homes. Go after neighborhoods that have a higher price point, guys. You only need one listing in a neighborhood to start being an expert in that neighborhood, right? So go after, you know, pick the area, pick that neighborhood you always loved in Lake Nona or Windermere or you know, some place that has at least a 300 plus price point, 350 plus price point, you know, and start doing those bigger deals and become an expert in that neighborhood and grab yourself a listing in there and then start doing open houses on that listing. Now, suddenly you're getting those kind of buyers. I started my business when I started back into real estate was through doing an open house. I did 9 weeks of open houses on a high-end home, right? It was a $700,000 home. And I committed to do an open house every single weekend until it was sold. And what ended up happening is I ended up getting all these $700,000 clients, which is pretty fantastic. Up to date, I did that. That was one of my first deals that I did when I came on board. And came back into real estate in 2014. Since then, I've made approximately $200,000 in gross commissions from the clients that I met in those 9 weeks of open houses. Why? Because all those guys were $500,000, $700,000 type of buyers. That means I'm popping $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 checks every single time I do a deal with those people. And a lot of those guys are cash buyers too, right? So keep that in mind. Network with higher level people. You know, we've heard this a million times. You become who you hang around. So guys, go to events where the higher level people are hanging out. If you only have friends that aren't going after stuff and they're not driven and they don't have the same dreams you do, you need to get in a new circle. These people don't hide. There's plenty of mastermind groups and networking events and organizations you can join to get around people who make money, who have, you know, higher net worth. And finally, short-term rental properties. For those of you who don't know, we have this special thing in Orlando called Disney World. And Disney World is a very unique thing to us. And what does it do? Well, because of Disney, hundreds of thousands of people a year visit Disney every year. So they've built a whole new type of property, which is a short-term rental property that you can purchase. And so around Disney, in the Disney areas, Davenport, those Kissimmee, Champions Gate areas, there's these neighborhoods out there that have short-term rental properties. Some of them are Champions Gate. Some of them are Reunion, Encore at Reunion, Bears Den. You know, you're talking about Lennar Homes over at Story Lake. Guess what? Those properties, those short-term rental properties pay 7 to 10% commissions, not 3. 7 to 10% commissions. Margaritaville right now. Margaritaville is a really hot property for you guys to sell right now. It's a resort style property, short-term rental property. You can live there if you want, but most people buy it and then have them rent out that property for them, make a little bit of money on it during the year, and then just spend a few weeks there when they use it. But guess what? They're paying 7%. That means you're popping like $20,000, $30,000 checks on these $700,000 price properties. So this is how you make more money per transaction. Next one is increasing the frequency of transactions. So now we've gone from increasing the amount of leads to increasing the value of transaction by doing bigger deals, working with high net worth people, picking neighborhoods that are higher value. Now we're going to go into how do we get people to do this more frequently? Like, how do I get people to buy more often? Like, you're only going to buy your primary residence once every few years. What else can I get them to buy? Well, one, use your CRM. okay? If you get organized and start marketing through your CRM is not simply a follow-up system, guys. It'll give you a dedicated website. It allows you to build email drip campaigns. It allows you to do mass emails, mass text, to set up systems in place so that you're touching your sphere of influence and your clients and past clients as many times as you want to a year. They actually recommend you touch them about 36 times a year. That's not too much, guys. People are getting stuff from everywhere. You have to be in their face all the time. The next one is follow up, follow up, follow up. Just because somebody told you a month ago that they weren't ready doesn't mean they didn't break up with their girl this month and they're ready now, right? Or they just got engaged this month, or one of those other 6 reasons. They just got promoted this month, or they just got demoted this month, right? The third one is work with investors. Investors are not primary residence buyers. They're going to keep buying and buying and buying. So guess what, guys? There's going to be some deals coming up right now because of this this pandemic. So now is the time to start building up your investor base and looking for deals. Put posts out. Any investors looking to invest during this time, even if you don't have investments for them, they will sign up for your list right now. Do that post today on Facebook, and I guarantee you, you're going to get messages from 10, 20 people who are like, I want to invest. Tell me if you have a deal, whatever the case may be, and now go find them some deals. And then talk to your regular clients, the ones that bought homes from you, whether they've ever thought about investing. Hey, you know, you bought with me last year. I wanted to check in on you. I'm seeing with this pandemic that there's probably going to be some really good investment deals coming up. Out of curiosity, was investing in real estate part of your 2020 goals? Was investing part of your 2020 goals? That's a good question. Maybe even put that as a question on your Facebook today. Out of curiosity, was investing part of your 2020 goals, and see who responds to you. There's your new investor clients right there, okay? And then finally, we're about to get into how to retire in real estate. So we're coming into the kind of the last portion of the program here. So this is a good time right now to do a little contest. Let's do the other card right now. So let's do a quick contest break, Jen Cherie. And so open up your chats, guys.
Get your fingers ready.
Your
First one's going to win the next $25 Amazon gift card.
Okay, so here's the question. What was the name of the strategy where you look at your friends and see who's online right now and contact them? What was the name of that strategy?
Caroline said, go green.
Go green? Nope. Close.
Jane said green traffic. Caroline said green light.
Green light. All right. Wait, did she win the first one?
Yeah, she said go green. Caroline was the first one.
Who won the first?
Let me go back and see. It was Yvette that won the first one.
Guys, I want to make sure that we give out to. Great job, Caroline. Way to be engaged. By the way, I see. I got 2 screens, so I can see your video, and you've been like attentively listening the whole time. I appreciate that a lot. Like I said, it's really weird doing this on Zoom when I can't, be crazy Bobby in real life, right? I just get to be crazy.
You're still doing great
in the Zoom world, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about, guys, let's talk about how to get rich, okay? Let's talk about retirement, right? Is everybody interested in that? Everybody interested in getting wealthy? Okay, so this is something you're gonna wanna talk about. I believe that everybody has the same goal. Like you're gonna meet a lot of people that say things like money's not the most important thing and all that stuff. And I agree with that. There's definitely more important things in life than money, but I don't know anything that works in life for that money, right? And I believe that everybody has the same goal. And this is everybody's goal in life, no matter who you're talking to. And the goal is this: you want to live life on your own terms. What do I mean by that? You want to do what you want to do, when you want to do it, with the people you want to do it, how you want to do it. And you want to help the people you want to help. You want to do the things your way. And the only way I know how to do that is to become financially free. So if you can find another way, let me know, put it in the chat, because I don't know another way to do it. And if you're not focusing on this now, especially when you're getting started, you don't want to wait till late down the road. There's people that are just getting this at my age at 41. You're just starting to realize, oh my God, how am I going to retire? Like, what happens if something happens to me? What happens if there's a pandemic and I don't have income? What happens? You know, this is a great time to be talking about this. Like, man, I told you who's not worried right now, right? It's that guy, Jerry, that drove by me on the freaking golf course. He looked happier than shit. You know why? Jerry's wealthy. Jerry doesn't have a problem right now. If he gets sick, he's going to go to the best doctor. You know what? He's not worried about his check. He got enough money. He's good. Okay. So let's talk about how to retire. So first, let's talk about something that many people won't talk to you about in real estate. Okay. This is the dirty secret of real estate. And it's that real estate has an income problem. Okay. What do I mean by this? Is if you're in real estate, you don't have income. Okay. You have transactions and you have checks, but you do not have income. Okay. Income is something that comes in no matter what, right? Income is something that comes in. Okay. So if you ask somebody who has a job on this call and you ask them when their check is, you know, like, hey, when's your next paycheck? Right? You know, Jen Cherie knows exactly when her next paycheck is. Okay. She can tell you. Okay. You ask a real estate agent when they're going to get their next paycheck, and this is going to be their answer. It's going to sound just like this. Well, you know, I do have a closing scheduled for, you know, April the 15th, but, you know, I mean, now the lender's giving me some shit, and, you know, this pandemic thing is slowing it down. And I'm like, okay, you don't have income. I call that may come. That may come. You may get that income. That's may come, but that's not income. Okay. So it's income versus may come. And this is something that nobody talks about. It's that consistent pressure in real estate to get the next deal. Even if I were to make 50 grand this month in commissions, I still have to get more deals to do that again next month. And the pressure gets back on. I always kind of give the example of almost like if you ever worked out and, you know, you went and did squats. It's like taking the squat rack off and put it on your shoulders and then never even being able to put it back on. It just stays there weighing you down every single month after month. You have to fix this problem. Okay. So I'm going to talk to you about that. So here's the current realtor retirement plan. Okay. It's not a good one. Okay. So I told you guys at the beginning, go ask, you know, some of these agents, even top producing agents, what's your exit strategy? Okay. And most of them won't be able to give you an answer. They don't know how they're going to get out. They're basically like, oh, I'm just going to do deals forever. The market's going to be great forever. Or I'm going to be doing this. But you know what? You don't want to be this lady because you know, eventually you're going to get burnt out. So you got to have another plan. You can't do deals forever. You got to have a plan. Okay. So here's realtor's current retirement plan. So this will be kind of open your mind to some of these people who are just getting into real estate. I can tell you what your future is going to look like unless you do something about it. So this is what happens. Okay. Usually what happens is if you're fortunate to be on the right team with the right partners, right, and the right coaches, you're going to become a top producer. Okay. So now you're making money doing deals, but there's only so many deals you can do, so many clients you can have. Hopefully you put some systems in place, but at some point you're going to start getting burnt out. And then you're going to have two bright ideas. One of these two bright ideas. You're going to either build a team, right? So you're going to become a team leader where you actually spend money out of your pocket, have expenses, pay for leads. You're going to have to recruit agents. So you're going to become a recruiter. You're going to have to become a trainer too, because you're going to have to coach those agents to close those leads for you. And then you're going to get a referral fee from all the deals that they do. That's what a leads team is. That's what most people tend to want to gravitate to. Unfortunately for a lot of people, they don't know really how to do it. So they end up spending a lot of money. And as many experienced team leaders, which by the way, if you are thinking about starting a team, I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm telling you that make sure you get some good coaching. My business partner, Gil Ramos, please reach out to me. I'll get you connected with him. And he teaches a great class on how to do it. And he'll do a one-on-one with you and show you how not to lose your ass starting a team. But just so you know, when you start a team, it usually takes about 6 months for you to actually make a return. So what happens is people start spending money on leads. They realize they're not great recruiters. They're not great trainers. They put the wrong people on their team and they spend money for about 3 months and then they give up on it and they never make a return on their investment. They just lose money. So make sure you get some guidance, but that's what it is. That's your thing. And I call this a one-level model, right? You're the team leader and you have these agents under you. Okay. And then your other bright idea is, oh, I'm going to get my broker's license. Okay, I'm going to get my brokers. That's the next logical step. And then I'm going to become a broker. Well, what have you done? All you've done is put more liability on yourself. So now you're going to get sued by the things that these agents do. So now you're going to become a recruiter again. Hopefully you're a good coach or your agents won't produce for you, right? You're going to build another one-level model. And on top of that, just to put a little icing on the cake, you know, if they do something stupid, you're going to get sued. Okay. So that's the advantages of being a broker per se. Okay. Some people do it well, but just so you know, the other dirty secret in the industry is that most brokers are broke. Okay. You know, a lot of brokers out there that have a nice title and everything, but very few are very profitable. That's why most people won't pay a lot to buy a real estate brokerage. Okay. So this is another one-level model, and you better be good. Once again, you better be good at recruiting people, because that's what your model is based on, right? And you're going to get a little percentage off of it. It's not the type of model I want to be in, but it is a model. Okay. This is your current retirement plan. This is how you do supposedly less work, but it's going to cost you a lot of money to try to build something like this. Okay. So here's my next and my only currently approved retirement model. And then I'll show you the one that you should be working towards. So this one here is, I think you can do this in any model you're with and in any brokerage you're with right now. And you should really try to do this no matter where you are, whether it's Keller Williams, Caldwell, whatever. I think, you know, I don't have any problem with any other brands, and never bash brands. If you're in a place where you feel you're getting the coaching, the energy, the team, and you're thriving there, do it. If not, talk to me, right? But if you're there, this is what you must do. First, be top producer. So earn a shit ton of money, close a ton of deals. The second thing is you got to learn to live below your means. Okay. This is what wealthy people do. They live below their means. If you make 100 grand, you better not be spending 100 grand, guys. Guys, I might spend, honestly, I try to spend about a third or maybe half of what I make. Like, the other half has to be going into some kind of account to save, right? Especially when you're in a business where you have to chase transactions and checks. You gotta have something in there in case something happens, right? And the next thing is invest your money wisely. You have to invest money, whether that be in your real estate, whether that's getting an investment account, whether that's doing anything like that. You have to go seek guidance right now to do that. And so I want to talk to you guys about how to add the true wealth plan for realtors. So once again, if you're currently, no matter where you are, you want to become a top producer, live below your means, save your money, and invest. So here's a wealth plan for realtors that I want you guys to learn. Okay. Make more money by doing more deals or doing bigger deals. Okay. Preferably both. So once again, that comes back to being a top producer. You have to have that income coming in so you have money to invest, right? Number two is create multiple income streams. Okay. Or even better, passive income streams. You can do this by many different ways. You can have a side business. For instance, you know, there's some guys in my office who do photographs for listings and stuff like that. That's a side business. He gets another income stream through real estate with that. Have other guys that actually do ADT home security, and they get side business and side things from that. It could be investing in somebody else's business that they run, and you're just helping them out. Maybe you're helping them out right now during this pandemic because they're struggling, and you say, hey, let me give you a few grand to keep you floating, but I want X percentage of your business when you rebound, whatever the case may be. The other one is buying investment properties. Okay. So buy a rental property, buy an apartment complex, buy a commercial property. You can do this over time. There's no reason why you would be in real estate and not learn how people get rich off of real estate. Once again, I'll be teaching a class later this month on April the 24th called Becoming the Investor Agent. I'll put that in the chat after this so you guys can register who are interested, and I'll talk to you about becoming an investor, because I think you're doing yourself a massive disservice if you're not learning how to invest in real estate while you're in the game, which, by the way, will also help you work with more investors and make more money. And the other thing would be a multi-level business, right? So there's plenty of multi-level businesses out there that you can join and be a part of and make money on the side. With our company, we have multi-level built into our business, which is one of the reasons that one of the main reasons I'm in this business. And by the way, our brokers, to me, the brokerage you're at, to me, is just simply a platform to run your business on. Once again, logos don't sell real estate. You do. My platform allows me to have a multi-level aspect to my company that allows me to receive multi-level residual income and revenue share. So even when I'm not closing deals, I'm still making money. And that's huge, especially right now. And as I mentioned before, invest in a business. Okay, so these are all ways that you can earn multiple income streams. They say most wealthy people have an average of 7 income streams. So think about that. If you've only got 1 income stream, what happens if that income stream is taken from you? Which a lot of people in this pandemic, that was taken from them. So they're just left out there hanging. You're going to want to have more of those. And then the final thing I want to tell you is you should be looking at actually having a financial professional that you talk with. I have a financial investment account with somebody. This is something you need to be looking for. Make sure you get some good recommendations on people, because you can get with some bad ones that can lose you a lot of money. But having a diversified investment account, with stocks, bonds, things like that maybe you guys don't know about, but you need to research, is very, very important right now, because at some point you're going to have some kind of retirement, guys. There's no 401k for you in real estate. There is no special investment account that's going to be there when you're done, unless you create one. So make sure that you create one. Here's and just a little caveat, I'm not a finance professional, so this is my researched opinion, but I've read enough books. I'm practicing this stuff. I'm following the Tony Robbins model. I've been to Business Mastery. I've done all sorts of stuff to try to really figure out what the right things is that you have to do. And here's a pro tip: write this book down. I want all of you guys to read this, whether you decide to start a financial account or not. But this is the book that Tony Robbins did based on him interviewing the top investment people in the world. Like, not just Tony Robbins coming up with shit out of his ass. It is people who are the top people, investors that have not lost money, even in situations like this. Okay. Which, by the way, this is when they make the most money. Smart investors right now are buying up the stock market like crazy, and they're buying up certain companies because they know once we rebound, they're going to make a shit ton of money. But read this book, please. It's a great, abbreviated version of his book called Money Master the Game. And it talks about the importance of not only being in the market to invest, but also making sure you choose the right person, because some of these people charge too many fees, and you don't want to be with a person like that. You want to be with somebody who charges no more than 1% in fees and has a fiduciary responsibility to put you in good investment products. Okay. So that's just a little tidbit there. And then finally, guys, I want to talk to you guys about choosing the right team. So, once again, I mentioned that in real estate, that it's important that you choose the right people to be around. And I love my team. I love the people that I'm around. They give me energy. They brainstorm with me when we need to move to the next level. I'm there to coach agents. My business partner coaches agents. Now in our office, we have about 5 or 6 certified coaches for every new agent that comes in. If you need coaching, if you don't want to be left out in the dark, unfortunately, a lot of brokerages out there leave their agents out in the dark, and it's sad, but in our case, we see that as an opportunity to make sure that we get as many people in that need the coaching with them. So keys to choosing the right team. I always say choose people, not logos. Okay. So no matter where you go, make sure you're the right people. Doesn't matter. Some people are like, oh, I'm going to be with this brand because it's prestigious. I'm like, nobody gives a shit what brand you're with. I'm telling you, you won't even mention it most of the time when you meet with a client. You're just building rapport. You're making a friend. You're adding value. Okay. Do you feel the energy of passion and hustle? I told you guys, you're not going to make it in this game without that energy and passion. I don't know low energy people, low action people, low hustle people that do great in this business. I just don't know. Is there a coaching or mentorship program? That's something that you need to ask when you're going into something, and figure out who the coaches are and what you'll be learning. Because I've even heard a lot of stories of agents joining places and they were promised a lot of coaching but didn't get it. Okay, so make sure that it's definitely there for you, and that there's support. I would say, do they believe in growth and personal development? Honestly, I don't want to be anywhere that doesn't believe in personal growth, or I'm going to be unhappy, me personally. That's something we believe in. I know Celebration Title Group believes in that. It's something that we believe in. Oh, wow. I went over. I just looked at the time, Jen Cherie. I've definitely gone over time a little bit. So thank you guys for sticking by with me. I tend to talk a lot. That's not a new thing. And then, is there a system in place to create wealth? And that's another question asked. Like I said, the model of real estate that I'm in right now, where I'm running my real estate business on, actually gives me ownership in my company. I get stock in the company, and I also am able to create a multi-level revenue share income. So that's something to ask about as well. If you guys have any questions for me or ever need to reach out to me directly, here's my phone number. This is my email. Real quick, Gentry, if you can put in the chat, I actually linked this. Don't laugh at me, but go to put bobbyfranchise.com into the chat. This is where I forwarded the Eventbrite link for a class that I'm doing on the 24th with you guys at Celebration, which is becoming the investor agent. So make sure you click on that link and register if you're interested in that. That way it's on your calendar. The Zoom link for that call is in there already. I want to make sure you guys have that in place. And finally, I'll leave you with this. Real estate is more than an industry. It's a way to play life. How you play in here is how you'll play out there. I always say, welcome to the game of homes, guys. Thank you for everything. And if you guys have any